What do you think are some of the main things that are holding California back right now?
Water, crime, development, the impedance to being able to build in California, and schooling, mental health. These should be no-brainer, apolitical issues that a government with all the power in the world should be able to solve. Yet they don't.
And why do you think that people still continue to vote a certain way in the environment that is continually getting worse?
Well, part of it is the existing government's power over the media in California. Most Californians, I would argue, aren't on X every day. They're turning on their local news, their KTLA, their Fox LA or whatever, their KCRA in Sacramento, whatever. They're turning on their local news stations. And who knows, this could be wrong, but this is what I was told by an anchor who's still on TV today in California. He asked me never to tell who he is, which is fair. And he sat down with me at a coffee shop during the election. He said, Kevin, there are times that we look at what we are told to say and we want to scream at the script because we know it's a lie. But we have to do it because otherwise our reporters won't get invited back into the Newsom press briefing. And we have to be there to cover it. Otherwise, people will go to a different news station. If we don't get invited in, we don't get the coverage of their grand new plan. So really, you don't get exposure to the problems in California through the mainstream television. And I'm not talking about nationwide, CNN, Fox, MSNBC, all of the local stations. I think it's bad, the censorship we saw with the Twitter files or at Meta. The same thing is happening at every single news station throughout the entire state. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg was just talking on Joe Rogan about how as soon as they started saying no to the Biden administration, that they weren't going to remove certain posts, they started getting a bunch of agency inquiries and lawsuits against Meta. Well, imagine getting sued if you're a small local TV or radio station in California by the governor. You're screwed. After I ran for governor, we joke that the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation came after me conveniently right after the election for a fundraising video that I made when I was running for governor saying, oh, you were collecting donations while talking about stocks. You were giving unlicensed financial advice. Basically extorted me for $5,000. Just fine, their settlement number or whatever. But we think that specific election video was targeted to send a message that we will come after you if you are a political noise or a fly in our ointment, if you will.
What other impediments did you come across when you were running for the opposition?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, a lot. I think the most interesting was that the Democratic regime during the recall election, which was a very unique election, it's an election where you have a two-parted ballot. One is, do you want to recall Gavin Newsom, yes or no? If Gavin Newsom is recalled, whom should be the replacement? Who should be your replacement? And the Democratic strategy was, we are not going to allow any candidate to get any airtime in pretty much any debates or coverage or whatever, although I was in one debate. Thanks, KCRA. But we will give no credence to any other Democrat. The Democratic Party would not support any other potential contender against Newsom because their thesis was, we're going to defeat the recall, vote no on the recall, literally leave the second part of the ballot blank. So the thesis, the democracy aspect of the Democratic Party of California is, leave half the ballot blank because we're going to win anyway. That's a huge impediment right there. So what does that mean? Well, that meant when I was running for governor, I couldn't get any Democratic campaign staff. So even though I was running as a Democrat to replace Newsom, and my pitch was a JFK-style, reasonable Democrat, even though that was my pitch, I couldn't get any Democratic campaign staff, lawyers, donation platforms, marketing platforms, couldn't get anything. I had to hire Republicans who wanted to fight Newsom to help staff my campaign because I couldn't get Democrats, because they all said, well, we will never be able to get another Democratic job if we work for you. So that's an example.